Welcome back, Paul Agbaku.
Hi.
Right, we're beginning with, tell us the first night you went down the Reno.
First time in or first night?
Tell us the first night, and then you can tell me the first time.
First time I ever went in Reno was with my dad. I think I was 14, right? It was a Sunday afternoon. And I remember meeting him, he had a suit on. And he said, come on. I'd seen the Reno, but I'd never been in to this point. And I went in with him, went downstairs. And do you remember the place where all the superstars used to stand?
Yeah, at
Remember? At the top?
Yeah.
The DJ used to.
Yeah.
Walked in. To the left-hand side, it was like a little corner, wasn't it? It was all Yoruba men there, big group of them. And the music was African music. That was the first time I really fell in love with African music. Still today, it's my favourite music. Really, it's my favourite music of all music, indigenous African music. And he said hello to them. There was Joe Ambeli was there, Adi Fufu was there.
Oh, Adi.
Tommy Akin, remember the bass player, the Nigerian, boom boom. Tommy Akin was there. Sheriff was there, but Sheriff was Gambian. He was the only non-Yoruba man there. And there's a few others. And I remember sitting with them, and it was all talking Yoruba. All this. I was so impressed with it. You know, really impressed with his language and being amongst these elders. Felt like it, really felt good. And my dad asked me, did I want a drink? I says, yeah. So it got me Britvic Orange.
Yeah.
Britvic Orange. Yeah. So I drank it, then I can't remember what one of the others asked me. But by the time I'd finished, I must have drank about 15 Britvic Oranges. It looked orange, man. Fucking orange. I drank that many. And as I said, there was a lot of African music. And it was really nice. There wasn't really young girls in there or anything like that. More like older people.
Yeah, like a men's hut.
Yeah, but there was a few say English women, the nutty type who could drink on a Sunday afternoon and dance crazy. Yeah. A few of them. Phil was behind the bar and that. And the other black people there, and that was it. That was my first time that I ever actually set foot. Oh, I remember that time when I went in. I remember going to the toilet. I was drinking that many Britvic Oranges. Obviously, I had to go to the toilet. Yeah. The toilet, I've never smelled anything like that in my life. I've never been in a toilet that had that aroma of urine.
What, really?
It stunk like... I've never smelled anything like that. It just was horrid, putrid smell in the place. And I can remember thinking, it was nice being with, my elders and that. Yeah. And listening to the music, and it felt great. Even though I didn't even understand anything they were saying. Yeah. It just felt, nice to be with them and that. But I always remember that, isn't it dirty in here?
Oh, right.
Very dirty. Especially like the toilet.
Yeah.
It really was dirty.
Sounds like you was in there for ages.
The afternoon.
The whole afternoon. Yeah.
So I said I drank about 15 Britvic Oranges.
So what was you doing though? Just listening to
sat in the middle of it. And then every now and again they'd be talking and someone would say, hey, you okay, son, you want a drink? I'd say, please. They thought I was all innocent, and all that, but obviously,
Was you already a criminal?
Well, a criminal already. But just to be amongst them, their elders, and it just felt I felt like a sense of belonging, even though I didn't understand the language, the Yoruba at the time. I felt a sense of belonging, a real sense of belonging amongst my elders.
No, I understand that. I used to feel like that when my dad had his people around, his brothers and his
really good.
nephews.
I can remember thinking to myself, I need to learn this language. Yeah. This is part of me. I need to learn this. And subsequently I learned a little. Yeah. And that was it. That was the first time I ever went in.
Tell us now the first time you went down the Reno.
Right. Yeah. First time I ever went down the Reno in the evening was with John Da Silva.
Right.
Right.
How old are you now?
Must have been about 15 or something like that.
So not long after.
Yeah. Me and John. And I think it was a Saturday night when we went. And I remember going in. But I was a thieving fucker, wasn't I? But I'm not going to speak ill of my brother who's passed away, but I'll just say I was a thief, really. So I remember the first time when I went in my mind, I wasn't, there's lots of mixed race people there and black people, but my primary concern was with looking for money.
Was it really?
Yeah, that was my primary concern.
Yeah.
I mean, seeing these big mixed race guys and, looked all smart and, everything was, nice scene going on. But my primary thing was I was looking for money.
Really?
Yeah.
Did you get any money
Yeah,
that first night?
Yeah.
Did you?
Yeah. Did, man.
Did you?
Yeah, purses, women's purses. I'm sorry to say that.
So you didn't have to, because that mine was like, oh, look at all my mixed race brethren. Yours was, oh, look at all them possible purses.
Yeah.
Typical you. Who was in the first night you went down? Who do you remember?
Sid Wolfe.
Yeah.
I remember Sid Wolfe. Malcolm Campbell.
Yeah. Was he on the door?
No, he was in there.
He was in there.
Let me think. Ray Buller was there. Steve Adams was there. I can't think of the other names of the people. But a few was there.
Was Dan and that lot in yet?
No.
Yeah.
Not then. No. Danny and Tommy and that. No.
Yeah.
No. I'd moved around with Danny for a few years. We had a gang and we did things. But then I kind of went my own way for a while. And then I kind of hooked up again with Danny and Tommy Brogan in a place called Coxion's on Alexander Road. Me and John Da Silva, I was with John Da Silva.
Yeah.
And I met Danny and Tommy had a big afro now by this time. And Danny was into the nunchakas and all that, kung fu, all this type of thing. Then we just started hooking up again. And then John started going away a lot, kind of whatever. So I kind of migrated towards Danny and Tommy Brogan and that at the time. That's what happened.
Tell us a good Reno story.
A good Reno story. I'll tell you one story that's stuck in my mind. Right? There used to be an old guy there. He was a friend of my dad's. He was deaf. Right? You're about man. Agbaku, all this, but he's deaf. And when you used to pay, right, you get a receipt. I didn't pay, but I'm saying when you paid, you get a receipt.
Yeah.
And that entitled you to rice and I thought was chicken.
Yeah.
Right?
Oh, don't.
Yeah, but it was rabbit. And when this, I can't remember his name, not Jeff, something. He said, I said, give me, when he was giving me the food, I said, give me 2 pieces of chicken. He said, it's rabbit. Mm-hmm. I said, what? He said, it's rabbit. I said, I've had meals in here before. This isn't chicken. He said, don't be stupid, Agbaku, this is rabbit. I said, fucking rabbit! He come out and nearly fucking throttled me.
Really?
Yeah, fucking strangling me. Fucking shimmy-wazzer around my fucking neck.
Fucking hell, man. Just because you said that?
Yeah, well, I fucking started shouting at him a bit. And he said, Nigerian, aren't they? Not allowed to really hit. In them days, I would never, even today, I wouldn't hit an older person than me, But he fucking throttled me.
So
Frankie was called.
Oh,
Frank.
yeah. I believe he slapped Tom as well.
Fucking no, he's got his fucking hands. And I thought to myself, fucking hell. Started going from red, I went fucking blue.
And you still wouldn't hit him though, to stop him?
No, wouldn't hit him. The thing is, right, I don't know, I'm not sure why I didn't fucking strike him back, but the thing is, I highly respected Nigerians, you see.
Yeah.
Nigerian men, older men, I respected them. Really respected them. So, maybe if he'd been hitting me with an hammer or something, I might have, retaliated, but I just Sheriff stopped him.
Yeah.
Yeah. Or else it might have been brown bread and not me.
By an old African.
By an old African. His name was Frank, but he was part deaf.
Right.
When you give me rabbit, it made me think that's chicken. Rabbit. You know. So, but I've ate rabbit since then, but at the time, to me, it was like, I would have regarded when I was young rabbit as vermin.
Yeah.
You know, so that was it. I got leathered, strangled to death in the end.
Go on, tell us another one.
Think of some, because most of them involve around thieving, you see.
No,
I'll tell you another. Yeah. Do you want me to tell you one that's
Tell me the thieving ones as well.
Thievery ones.
Yeah.
Right. One that sticks out in my mind.
Yeah.
Right. Was one night I was in the Reno. I can't think if it was Christmas. It was some event. Might have been Easter or something, but it was, you know, it was light.
Yeah.
And I was stood near, you know, the men's toilet.
Yeah.
There's a little recess. I was stood there. This guy came in with some people, and I followed when they came in. They looked like they had money, so I just stepped forward. I seen him when he went to the bar. He had a wallet.
Right.
It looked thick, very thick, right? And I seen him when he put it in his pocket, right? When he came back to his people, drinks and that, he was stood there, and I, you know, got in a position, right, and got to his pocket, right, and I felt it, the wallet, just like that. Nearly having an orgasm, not touching it.
Yeah.
Right, I got it. And with getting it out, something grabbed hold of my hand, but started to fucking put pain on my hand.
Right.
And I didn't want to move. You know, like, because I'm the person who's doing the thieving.
Yeah.
Right? I'm telling you, man, the guy had his fucking fingernails fucking deep in my hands. Deep in my
What
hand.
a weird situation.
Right.
So he knows he's being robbed.
Yeah. And I looked, like I didn't move my head, I looked with my eyes.
Yeah.
He was looking at me, smiling. He looked as stocky, you know, I looked at him, I thought,
yeah.
This is wrong.
It's on top.
It's on top.
Yeah.
Where's Danny and Tommy?
Yeah.
The guy, I couldn't get my hand away. And in the end, he let my hand go. When he let my hand go, he smiled and winked.
Did he?
Yeah. You know, when I just went like that, you know, tried to play it a bit cool.
Yeah.
I had no air there.
Yeah, like yeah, that never happened.
You know, what a tough one. And I made sure that night when I went out with Danny and Tommy. No one of them waiting for me.
Wow.
You could see he wasn't a fool, you know.
Yeah. Obviously. You kind of seem to enjoy it.
And also, what I did then, I learned that, like, don't work on your own.
Yeah.
Work in a team. You know, a few of you. So.
Well, tell us a team affair then.
Well, it involves, I can't name names, can I? Because it involves people. You know, that's what we did.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, we'd go there and, like, you know, it was money. To me, the Reno, to be honest and candid, was a race.
Yeah.
It was nice to see some mixed race people and that, and African people and black people. It was great, but my main thinking wasn't even women there, it was money.
Yeah. What year are we talking here now?
Years.
Yeah, go on anyway. You're about 15.
Yeah, but it's getting older. I'm getting older.
Oh, okay, right.
And I mean, just, you know, taking things off people and, you know, coming unstuck sometimes, and, you know, things like being threatened, people threatening you. But, you know, one thing I'll say, to slightly go off track here, I always felt with the Reno, with mixed race people, I always felt that they was very competitive with each other, mixed race people.
Tell me why.
It's just something that I always felt about them, like, you know, I'm better than you, and I'm tougher than you, and I'm this, and look at the way I dance, and pussy like me more. You know, I always felt that about them, so I never really gelled with a lot of brothers. You know, deep in my heart, I mean.
Yeah.
Gelled superficially. But I mean, in my heart, I never really gelled with them as such, because I see them as competitive, as rivals, the majority of people.
But I suppose that might be right for your age, though, because you are. It's natural to.
It seemed to be too much, and I could see what it was going to progress to, and it actually progressed to one side of Manchester having major wars with another side, but with the same people. So I could see it wasn't healthy then.
Right.
And look what it progressed to. People have lost their lives. People are doing big prison.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I could see that was a possibility, even as a young guy, amongst my own people. I could see that. Really see that clearly. And those who promoted that and never gelled with them, I don't want to say anybody's names, but most of them talk shit. I had a particular mixed race guy who used to talk about the vanguard, the proletariat, and all this business, right? Like he was a revolutionary, right? And I took that to heart. It was quite congruent with my thinking, kind of thing. But when push come to shove, deep down, that wasn't from, he didn't mean that in his heart. He was just reciting, plagiarising bullshit, really. It didn't mean anything to him because his actions shown that it didn't mean anything to him. He was not concerned with the us as a collective people.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But you was really concerned with that at one point.
At one point, yeah, I was concerned about my people. But there comes a point in your life, don't there, where you realise that I'm urinating against the wind here, or I'm butting the wall, and it's not doing me any benefit, and I don't see the community as a benefit, as a whole benefiting. And I put all this down to the competitive edge that mixed race people seem to have with each other.
Tell me what you think
I think deep down, mixed race people, I'm saying fundamentally now, Linda, not in the normal, just everyday life. Some people can fake things. I think mixed race people, deep down, suffer with low self-esteem. We wasn't born that way. It's society. The things that they put on us that made it that we wasn't valued. We wasn't shown value. I mean, as I've got older, obviously I've read more now, right? And I know who mixed race heroes are. I've read about mixed race people, some great things that they've achieved and that. And that's given me kind of renewed pride.
Tell me 2 great things that mixed race people have done.
Well, Pushkin, he was partly responsible for the Russian language.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, formerly they spoke of
And in
Prussian.
what way was he mixed race?
He was, I think he was Moorish and Russian.
Oh, okay.
And he brought the Russian language to what it is, right? Pushkin. Then you had Alexander Dumas, the man in the Iron Mask, etc. Writers, these type of people. Then I look at Muhammad Ali, right?
Is he mixed race?
Irrespective of some people saying that he's a full Melanite, he's not. His grandfather was Irish, I believe, so he's mixed race to me, right? Malcolm X, right? He's taken to be a full melanated man. He's not. He's mixed. He's a mixed man. You know what I'm saying? So, Bruce Lee, he's a mixed man. We can mix for quality as well, can't we?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Just as we do with, say, horses, or even, I'm not being detrimental when I say this, but say with dogs, hounds, canines, we can mix, can't we, to get something that we want. Like the Russians years ago. Sorry to keep
going
sideways. The Russians years ago, they created a dog, a super dog. And this dog was made up of many dogs. But this dog could climb trees. This dog could swim. This dog could run long distances on the minimum amount of food and water, right? So it was mixed for quality. And I believe we as a mixed people have qualities. We really do have qualities, but because of the environment and the society, the conditions aren't right for us to prosper and show what we truly are as a people, because there's too much pressure on us as a group.
Where's the pressure coming from?
It's coming from society. It comes from a section of the black population, and certainly from the Caucasians. Politically from the Caucasians. I mean, we'd say a certain section of the black community, I'm specifically talking about the diaspora, right? That there's this thing in there with some diasporic people. You're a breed, you're this, you're that, and the other. And when I see that in diasporic people, I immediately, as a reflex, think you're a victim of of slavery, because as we know through slavery, light-skinned and dark-skinned was separated, and that was a strategic plan, to divide and rule kind of thing. But that made the two sides hostile.
Yeah.
Even though really we're the same people, made them hostile towards each. And I think that's still, there's remnants of that or traces of that in some people from the diaspora in their DNA.
Do you think it's the same today as when we were teenagers?
I don't think it's to the same level, but I think it still exists. Yeah, I do. It happens to me quite a lot, so I think it does happen. But when I was younger, I resented it. And I used to think, you don't look at you. But when you get older, you mature, you read, you start to I've travelled the world, so I've been to America, so I've had an understanding now. I understand what slavery has done to a section of our brothers and sisters. I really do understand that now. Where formerly I only understood so much. Now I understand the horrors and the psychological impact that it's created and the divisions. Because we as a people, as a melanated people, if we came together economically, what could it do to us as a people? Remember, we are melanated people, we've got melanin, we're a strong people.
But Paul were also half white.
Yeah. And? What's that mean?
Well, just that we're half white.
But what about it?
Well, then if they're our people, melanated people, as you're saying, so are white people's our people too?
Melanated people will accept you more readily than a Caucasian. And let me just put this right, because I don't want, if any Caucasian people are watching this, I don't want them to think that I'm a racist, that I would get in the way of any. I'm not anti-Caucasian. I'm against the system. And it's Caucasians that run this system, a certain group within this system. We, Linda, don't have the melanated people in this society, and I regard Asiatics as melanated, right? We don't have real power in this system. We don't have real economical power. And the seat of power always lies with those who make the overseas policy. Now, I know that melanated man in England, Britain, are not making the overseas policy, because if we wouldn't have allowed these people to invade Iraq and kill our women and children and go to Libya and do the same and try the same in Syria. We wouldn't have allowed it. But we've got no power. And the reason why we've got no power is because of ourselves, because there's no true unity. All this, yeah, brother, one love, this, that, and it's bullshit. It's not real. It's nice, fancy talk, but it doesn't mean anything. That's how I see it. That's why I'm more akin at the moment to Arab people, as I was saying to you before, because there's more liberation. I feel more liberated with them than my own people, really. But having said that, Arabs are people because they're a mixed race people. They're a mix, tashkila, the mixed people. I'm saying? They're like us.
Did you think like this in the Reno?
I had thoughts of this. I never felt part of the thing, really. The only time I felt part of the Reno is when I first went in with my dad, and I was with those Yoruba, those Africans. I felt like a prince amongst kings.
So when we was all laughing and taking the piss and everything, you never felt part of it?
Maybe say 70%, not truly. I'm saying not 100%.
Yeah.
I never really felt it, no. Because I didn't feel that we was liberated people. I'm saying? Because of my upbringing, you see, from young how things was, which I don't really covered that in part one. I've always been looking for family and unity and things like that, so I yearned that. Okay. And I thought that I would get that from my own people, but I've seen that I didn't get that from my own people. And in many ways, that turned me against my own people. There's a lot of mixed race people I don't like at all. There's some that I admire, deeply admire. You want me to tell you something?
Yeah, that you admire.
That I admire. Right? But for specific reasons as well. I admire Brian Sarge, right? I admire Brian Sarge for his organisational skills, and that man is clean. Let me tell you, he's immaculate, right? That's what I like about him. I admire, from young, I used to say, I would love to be like him, in as much that he's so clean and organised about things. You understand? This is by inner thinking, I used to think.
Yeah. As a young lad, this
as
is
a
how
young
you
lad,
used
yeah,
to think.
I
Yeah.
kind of felt in awe in that respect
Okay.
about him. I admired Dave Joando. He's a very intelligent guy, for his brains. He has a system that if something's complicated, he can explain it. Like, say, if something's complicated, I might struggle with explaining it to somebody in common sense terms. He has that in abundance. He can do it. So that's a skill that I admire in him as a man. You know what I'm saying? I liked Ray Buller. When he used to go to the YMCA, sometimes he used to train on that. And I liked his dedication to his karate. He was a very dedicated man. I like that about him. As we were saying before, I loved Fonzo Buller. I really like Fonzo a lot. He's one guy. I would have liked him as my blood brother, Fonzo, because he's got a nice personality, hasn't he?
Yeah.
And he's the type of guy who can break barriers with any race.
Yeah.
Fonzo. He's got that kind of adaptable personality. So I always admired that about him as a guy.
He's really positive as well.
Yeah, I really, really admired that about him. I admired, Himmat Singh.
Yeah.
Right? I admired Himmat because he had to come into an environment. Although he's a Moss Side guy, and his brothers, his uncle was Ranjit Singh, pretty heavy. But he had to come and kind of, not compete, but he had to come and make his mark within the Reno or within that environment when he wasn't really of that.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
And everybody liked him.
Yeah, no, it's true.
So he was another guy who I admired.
No, it's true that.
I admired that about your ex-husband, Tommy Brogan, that, he's Caucasian, Irish guy, and he had to come in and he had to, not fight, but had to kind of hold his own to be, the word's not accepted, but, to be one of...
respected.
Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, there was quite a few people who I admired who went down there. I'm not going to say those who I didn't admire.
No, that's not fair.
It's too negative, and
Yeah.
I wouldn't say that. But there's a school, a lot of the sisters I admired them.
Go on then, tell me 3 sisters that you admired.
Anne Sarge. I thought she was gorgeous, Anne Sarge.
Did you?
Have you looked at her? Can you not see Yoruba when you look at her face? When I see her, I see a Yoruba woman. She's beautiful to me. That should be Miss World type. Anne Sarge type. I admired Anne very much, very beautiful. I liked Diane Bonson, another African face. I like that very
Proper
much.
stylish woman, Diane.
Loved her very much. She was my friend Paul Khalid.
Yeah.
I liked her a lot. Anne.
Yeah.
I liked Anne Khalid. Always liked Anne a lot. Obviously Mandy and Susie.
Yeah.
I won't say too much about Mandy because it's not right, is it? She's a married lady, isn't she?
Say it now. You can't say that and not say it.
Well, I kind of loved Mandy.
Oh.
But it's a forbidden love for me, isn't it? You know what I'm saying? Because she's kind of like my family.
Yeah.
It's a forbidden love. I could never do that.
Yeah.
I wouldn't have done that. And I respect her husband. That's why I didn't really want to say that. There goes me again.
Yeah.
And I respect Peter a lot. You know what I'm saying? So, me and Mandy would have had about 12 kids who was lunatics. Believe me.
Why would they be lunatics?
Because she's a lunatic like me. Right? Yeah. So I admired, I liked her. And you as well, you was quite dashing, Linda.
Oh, thank you.
But you had a good brain, you see. When I used to look at you, I used to think about you, truthfully.
Go on.
This is wallah, hand on heart. I used to think to myself, if you was put in the right environment and had the right backing, you would go up there. That's what I used to think about it.
Thank you.
You don't have to thank me.
Just say what you... Yeah.
Don't thank me, but I'm just saying that's what I used to think about it. I used to think you was highly intelligent, and if you would have had the opportunities and the right financial support, I could have seen you up there, definitely, 100%. But it's never too late, and
no, exactly.
Perhaps now's your time.
Yeah.
And that was it. But getting back to the Reno,
Yeah.
I used to see. that's how I've seen it, very competitive. So that
Did it feel like-
competitiveness
yeah,
puts me on edge.
I was just going to say.
When I feel competitive, I go on edge. I'm not relaxed with somebody if I feel competitiveness with them. But some people take that as fear. They'll take that as fear, but it's not. It's psychotic, suppressed anger, because it used to get me angry with myself why I don't feel like that. But it's because of the competition when it's not necessary. However, if it's in an environment or a situation where it's competition, I thrive in that if the environment's right. But wasn't the environment for. That's supposed to be, you're my brother, you know, and if you're in distress, I'm going to come and help you.
But it was like that.
Well,
I understand what you're saying.
I didn't see that. I see many mixed race people fighting each other. I see people backstabbing each other. You know, I know. I'm not going to say, but I know certain mixed race people give evidence against somebody and they got long prison. You know what I mean? So, in practicality, you know, I don't see liberation, and I didn't see that with the brothers and the sisters. I didn't see that. I seen little cliques, you know, there was little cliques of people, but I know there was little cliques that didn't like them, and they didn't like them. I mean, they'd smile falsely, hey, yeah, how you doing, bro? But really, I know deep down that guy couldn't fucking stand him. I know that. And I was like that with some people. I wouldn't say to the extent of couldn't stand them, but there was definitely people there that, like, I didn't like him. I just thought he was full of shit, mate. You talk a lot, but there's no substance to what you say.
In comparison to all the other clubs in Manchester, though, did you not feel more belonging in the Reno than in the other clubs?
Yeah, because in the other clubs, I mean, you know, it was more or less guaranteed there could be a fight. You know what I'm saying? But in the Reno, you could somehow, fuck you, man, I'm not in, you know what I'm saying? But you might not be able to do that in town. Yeah. Or these other clubs. You know what I'm saying? And plus, even some of the mixed race people who I didn't like, I knew the mums and dads. Yeah. You know what I mean? So, you know, I wouldn't specifically hurt them or anything like that. I don't think they would have really gone out to intentionally hurt me, a lot of the people who I knew. But, you know, I still maintain that there was no true liberation, and the ends justifies the means to me, Linda, and it always has. And I look at our state today, and where are we as a people? You tell me where we are as a people. Tell me, I'll listen, tell me.
I don't know, you tell me where you go.
Well, as a group, we're nowhere. I personally feel I'm somewhere, because the past 4 years of my life have been the most productive of my life. The past 4 years, I've done a lot of good things in my life the past 4 years. It's not been easy sometimes. But I've definitely grown in certain areas and flourished in other areas. And, you know, I don't want to say too much on it, but, you know, I told you about the classes that we held and that. I mean, in that, we had, you know, I told you about the chess, and all the kids that we had was disturbed. You know what I mean? Like, you're no good, you can't do this, you're thick and all this. And no. That's just other people's opinions. So we got these kids together, and when we went in that chess tournament in Bradford, we came joint third. Think about that, Linda. Joint third. And these groups had been together, these Muslim groups, where their dads had been in them. This was just some little shitty thing that I put together. Yeah. This, with no money. Just begging paint to paint it up and begging for bits of stuff off people. You know, we didn't have anything, because I felt I could put into that, because I felt liberated with these people, so I gave me all. Yeah. You understand? When I wouldn't give me all with mixed race people, because they're not trustworthy, a lot of them. Yeah, these Arab brothers, I could trust them, you know, and we had great successes.
You're saying lots of really...
Sorry, go on.
No.
It's me, my head starts.
No, you're all right. How old are the people that you're helping? Sorry. In your club.
It's done now. It's finished that.
Yeah, but how old were they?
There was some of them was 11 little kids, and some was adults. You know what I'm saying? So in what we did, we had chess, we had martial arts for women to teach women how to fight back, because we discovered that most homophobic attacks was by white males on hijab wearing females, sisters. So we...
Not homophobic, what do you mean?
Islamophobic.
Islamophobic, yeah.
So we started getting sisters and young girls who've been bullied and teaching them how to fucking put your fucking finger right in their eye, mate, hit them in the throat and run away. Don't need any fancy moves. So we're teaching that. We started getting problems from other brothers saying, you've got girls fighting with boys, sex. It was nothing to do with sex. It was to teach our sisters how to defend themselves against what was happening. So we had that. We taught, and I was the teacher of chematology. Can you believe that?
So, say what chematology is.
That what
Not everybody
what
will
the
know.
Caucasian will call Egypt.
Oh, okay.
So I had this lad, he was a Palestinian brother, and he was a proper journalist, you know, real. He writes for these Islamic magazines. So I'd get an idea in my head. Say it was like neurology. I don't know anything about neurology. Nothing, right?
Yeah.
What I'd do is say, right, brother, find out for me the earliest on record traces of neurology. Who was doing it. And invariably, it always went back to Kemet, right? So with the kids, I'd show them, say, right, this is the date, and this is what we was doing in Kemet. And I'd show them pictures of Kemetic people, which was brown and black, right? And then I'd show them Europe, and there would be nothing there because we couldn't access any information about neurology at this period. So that was my learning style. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah. For
the children, so we did that. And we played a six-a-side football as well. And two of the kids, one's a Somalian, Mohammed, and Zakaria, a Libyan kid, they're in Qatar now. They're playing football part-time and studying, and they came through our little thing.
Oh, congratulations.
So, well, it's cool. They did the work, I just facilitated. But the thing is that I wanted that once upon a time for mixed race people, and I would have given my all. Like I said, I'm not a hero, I'm the least hero in Manchester, but I used my own resources for that, my own money. You know what I mean? And I'd beg paint and I'd do this, that and the other. And I would have done that for mixed race people, but mixed race people don't amount to shit, most of them.
No, man.
I've got to be honest, Linda. I'm not here to joke. They don't amount to shit, most of them. You know what I mean? So I found solace and liberation with my Arab brothers. You know what I mean? And they all appreciated it.
Yeah.
They was dead appreciative. You know what I mean? For everything that I did. Or we all did. I don't want to take all, it's not just me, other people put input. And all the kids, the young kids that we had, was all disturbed, had been kind of half written off. You know, you can't do this, you can't do that. And I said to them, they are only ideas what other people have got in their head, and they're putting them on you. So don't accept it. Don't accept that. We will show you, and we did, and we got great successes. And I could just think that I keep saying forgive me, we could have done all that for mixed race people, and there was a time where I wanted to do that, you know, but it's like dragging a 10-ton dead horse. You know what I mean? And
how old was you when you wanted to do that?
17, 18, 19.
And we were all the same age as you?
Yeah. I had these grand ideas, you know, that we should all, you know, perhaps we should open a school, you know, for our children, things like that, you know, and do things and work on what we're good at. You know, if you're, say, like Rachel might have been good at, say, fucking ballet dancing, you know, we encourage her, you know, or say one of my daughters might have been good at, say, you know, football, so encourage them, you know what I'm saying, things like that. But one thing I will say, definitely, I'll say this seriously, that all the children in the group, all of them, all and sundry, I gelled with them all. You know what I'm saying? I had rapport with them all. Every single one of them, because they knew I was not there to shout at them, to humiliate them, or to make them feel bad in any way. I was there with pure love. And when I say love, I mean the love of humanity, love. You know, because you are my brother and sister, love. You know what I mean? But
I remember you being like that in the Reno, though, Paul. Yeah. But why is anybody going to listen to you when they just want to smoke weed and dance?
Well, that's why I think the Reno was not a good thing overall. I listened to what Billy Marble said.
Yeah, go on.
And when he touched on, what was it he said? He said he doesn't think it was good, you know, because it held people back. I think there's going to the Renos, say, you know, spending long nights there, smoking weed, talking shit, looking at women, right? I think what we should have done was got our careers and those who wanted to go to uni, etc., should have got that out of the way, then look to play. As I see the Jewish people do, as I see the Asiatics do, and as I see our Arab brothers and sisters do, we do things wrong as a people. We look for entertainment and pleasure and this, that and the other at the neglect of mental progress, Linda.
I was right, really go back to the Reno now, right? Really picture it.
I can picture it in my mind now.
Right, picture it, right, and picture us in the Reno.
I can see you now.
Right, so how are we going to think what you've just said? Really look at it. How are we going to...
Because some of the people that went in there,
yeah.
I've seen them out of there.
Okay.
In the home,
yeah.
in the street and in different places when they wasn't in that, actually in that environment in the Reno, and spoke to them.
Yeah.
And people are like, they're apathetic. People, I deduced that most mixed race people at the time suffered with apathy. That's what I deduced from them. And I've seen that it's like pulling a dead horse, it's wasting your time. So really I didn't have that much in common, really. Do you understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
With them. And also the Reno, I mean, I was with the women, you know.
Mm.
You know, if you get her out, she was going round the back with me. You were getting some of love. You might not have bargained for.
So while you're Malcolm X,
yeah.
on the other hand, yeah.
Man's got to have his needs.
Yeah, Malcolm B. Go on.
Yeah,
well, go on.
I do all things. I'm not going to say on camera, it's like porn. I just was not nice to them, you know. They was like, it wasn't good, you know, like it was total self-satisfaction and probably horror to them.
Yeah. So tell me why you just didn't do it for yourself. You know what you wanted for the mixed race people in the Reno. Why did you not just do it for yourself?
Well, what I did, right, I used to read, right, and stuff to myself. And then my dad passed away. My father died, right. But I promised him I'd go to Africa, right. So I got into that, started going to Nigeria, looking at that side of things and that. And I used to go to Liverpool, talk stuff and that. And then I kind of fell in love with my Nigerian side and, you know, and more favoured Nigerian, 100% Yoruba Nigerian people than mixed race Yoruba. I kind of started to read then about...
No, but you're not answering the question. You know, like when you're like 16, 17, 18, right, and you're looking around saying, why don't we go to university and why didn't you just do it for yourself?
Oh, I'll tell you what happened, right. I was with a Caucasian woman. Her name was Linda Reid. I had children to her. Waste of time. I shouldn't have had children. That held me back. That really held me back, having the children. It's like some people might not like that, but I'm here to tell the truth. And I'm going to tell you the truth, and that's what I felt. It doesn't mean that I didn't love my children. It meant simply that it held me back. And I wasn't with a partner who I should have been with brown or black people. I shouldn't have been with a woman like that. Or if it was a Caucasian woman, she should have been politically aware type woman. This was a woman who wasn't into anything like that. So that's nothing against her as such, but she wasn't made for me. She was made to be with her own people. I wasn't made for that. So with having, you know, family problems and that, then from that I ended up with a mixed race girl. That kind of didn't really work, even though I tried and I wanted to take her and my children to Africa to live. That didn't work. So what I'd started to do, I ended up doing an access course to go to university, right? Because I wanted to study Middle Eastern studies, right? So I went down and I started the course at the Ardent Centre, and I was mind mapping, you know what we do, mind mapping the stuff. So all the group wanted me to teach them, so I ended up teaching all the group how to mind map, all the people who was on the course and that. And then one day, what happened, my tutor was a guy called Mike Taylor, right? And he stood up in the front and he said, the worst tragedy to befall mankind is the Jewish Holocaust, right? So I'm not like that. And he didn't like me because I always asked questions that perhaps he wasn't prepared for, should we say that kind of thing. And he looked round and he went, well, what is it now, Paul? You know, like I'm a nuisance. So I said, when you've just made that statement, right, about the Jewish Holocaust, we know it's been bad and that, but are you talking in terms of numbers or actual treatment? And he had a twitch in his face like that. And, you know, his face went out when he was talking, when he got nervous. And he said, what do you mean? I said, it's quite clear what I'm asking you. I said, because if we compare, I said, I know what happened in the Second World War was not nice. You know, Jewish people was killed, there's no doubt. It was definitely killed, some Jewish people was killed. I said, but can you compare that to slavery, what happened to, say, African people? Because you said that that's the worst thing. So can you compare that to what happened to Africans? The diaspora is still suffering today, but the treatment was that bad. I said, so what do you mean? And if it's numbers, we're looking at 50 million plus from Africa against 6 million, right? And treatment-wise, from what I've read about the Holocaust, it was terrible, no doubt about it, but read about what they did to Africans. Just read about that. So he ended up being horrible to me, right? Because he couldn't answer the question. This is a lecturer, right? So what happened, Linda? This is why I fell out with it all, academia. So we had to read this book. The title of the book was Animal Farm by George Orwell.
Yeah.
Right? So we had to read the book, and then we had to write an essay on the misuse of power that's in that book. You know how the pigs misuse the power. And so I wrote my essay, right? I wrote it, and I redrafted it a couple of times, and I showed it to an academic, somebody who was close to me, who was academic, very academic. Because I'm dyslexic, remember? I suffer with a bit of dyslexia. So I said, give me, I'm the type of person, when I do something, if it isn't right, I can accept criticism when I'm trying to learn how to do something. If it's something I'm arrogant and I think I already know, I might get offended, but you know, I'm new to this game. And if there's any faults, I implore you to tell me, kind of thing. So she looked at it, she read through it, and she said, have you done this all yourself? I said, yeah. She said, that's a good piece of work. I said, really, Jazz? She said, it's a good piece of work, Bob. I said, like, look at some of the punctuation, that, you know, because I suffer with that. She says, the meat of it, she said, I'm talking about, is excellent. So what I did then, we had to go in for a one-on-one with this Mike Taylor. So I went in with it and showed him, right? He couldn't have read it that fast, he was skimming through it, and he said, redraft the conclusions. That's what he said to me. He said, redraft your conclusions. So I said, why? He said, because I'm telling you to, right? So I looked at him and I said, listen to me, you dirty fucking bastard. That was it. I just abused him, right? Verbally, right? Told him about himself and everything. So I had to leave the college. And then a few weeks later, they sent back for me to go back. Because they wanted a hearing, they wanted to like find out what's gone on. Yeah. So I went back. There was the dean or the head, his secretary, this Mike Taylor, and this academic girl who I took with me. And he asked me what had happened. So I told him exactly how it started with what the man said about the Holocaust and this, that and the other. I said I disagreed with how he was teaching it. It couldn't go unchecked. I wanted to know, where's he coming from? He's my tutor. He knows more than me. So I'm there to question him. I'm there to learn, and I'm going to question if he says such certain things, which I did. And I said, you know, kept going on a bit and that, and they said, what do you think, Mr. Taylor? And his face was dead red, and the twitch was going at 7,000 miles an hour now. So that told me, you know me, that what you did was wrong, and you've been caught out here now. By me, you've been caught out. Because he had been, right? So they said, well, can we put this to rest, Paul? And, you know, perhaps start again? I said, fuck you, and fuck your system. And I left, and I never went back into academia. Then I seen them as like, it's a load of shit, load of bollocks. So I never pursued it. But I wanted, if I I would have completed the course, my intention was to study Middle Eastern Studies at Manchester Universities. That was my thing. And then from there, I hoped to immigrate to the Middle East and help children who were suffering.
Right.
That was my idea. You know, kids who were being badly treated. That was my goal in life. And I didn't do it. That was it. So what I did is, as I say, I never did that and that, but I did lots of cognitive courses, you know, NLP, impact therapy, Gestalt therapy, hypnosis and that. So I've used them courses when we had the classes.
Yeah.
I used them on. But people started saying I was using witchcraft, black magic.
Why?
Because they was jealous. Because we had people in the group who thought they needed more, their qualifications, their toilet paper, what they got from a British university, should have entitled them to have more control over the situation. But the children migrated to me, they loved me, they liked my teaching. Well, we had this guy, right, called Munif. He was an educational psychologist, bona fide, works for the council, the education, and privately he works. He's married to a woman from Kirby who graduated in Egyptology. She wanted to come into my class. Our class is teaching Egyptology. I said, you lady have got no chance. We are not teaching the Caucasian model of that land. We're teaching the indigenous people's model of that land, not yours. And I've made enemies with them because they started going on saying to us, the Muslim people, you know, that fucker, he's doing all kind of mind things on the kids and he's doing black magic. I wasn't doing black magic. I was using cognitive persuasion skills, Linda. You understand? You know this. We know this. That's what I was using. But because they're so narrow-minded and they're so much up onto the, I've got a degree, I know better, it's toilet paper. My internal representation of a person's degree is toilet paper. That's how I see it. I don't respect it. I've got no respect for academia in this country.
So going back to the Reno after
Right,
everything
so
you've just said, right?
Let me have a rest.
Yeah, you got a brew there.
Oh yeah, go
on. That's where are you going to fit in? Go back to the Reno now. Because you already think like you think. Because part of the reason that I do this project and part of the reason that I think the way I think is through meeting you and Tommy Brogan in the Reno.
Is that right?
Absolutely.
Well, thank you, my sister.
No, really, absolutely, because you made me politically aware.
Me?
Yeah, definitely. You know you did. We had conversations into the night where you would make me think.
What I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, go on.
I didn't know that. I didn't know that I'd.
Well, you did.
I didn't go on.
Yeah. So what?
You saying go back to Reno, and then you said part of
everything that you've just said has happened to you, and you thought.
Yeah, and then you said me and Tommy Brogan. You're glad that you met us.
Yeah,
because
absolutely.
it made you politically
aware and to start to kind of question it, because basically all you're saying is you question everything.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So if you question everything, what you were saying before, how could you put that into practice when you was that age? I'm really interested in that. You said we should have in the Reno fixed ourselves up and got educated, but you've just rubbished education.
Because that's how it left me.
Yeah, no, exactly. Do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm trying to say? Because you didn't believe in the education system then anyway.
Well, I think when I was younger, because don't forget, I grew up in this country. I mean, I'd been brainwashed like most people. You know, that if somebody's educated, they're this, they're that, they're the other. It's only in later life that I realised they're not. But there was once upon a time when I really did believe in academia in this country. I really, really did. You know, and I thought that we could, as youths, we could take advantage of it and use it for the benefit of us all. But now I'm older, I don't see that. I really don't see that. I really don't see that. As I said, I see that mixed race people are a disjointed people. They're not a liberated people. I've got brothers in Cape Town, in Manenberg, in Cape Town. Brothers who I communicate with a lot. The same thing is there. There's a big mixed race community in Azania, South Africa, right? Plenty of brothers there, sisters. It's the same there. This is repeated. This is the same wherever you find them. mixed race people. There's no liberation amongst them.
But I remember something really scary about that when before I went to Reno, I met any of yous. Do you remember when they used to say that the coloureds in South Africa was animals, man? They used to have separate prisons.
There are people, man.
No, exactly, but I'm just saying that in a smaller, I don't know, I'm just talking rubbish.
No,
in a smaller version, we probably grew up thinking that too. Do you know what I'm saying? I remember watching telly when I was 12 or something, and they'd have these prisons where they'd have mixed race.
Yeah, the numbers.
Yeah, they call coloureds in South Africa, weren't they? So they'd have and they'd really see them as worse than black, worse than white, and they'd really close the door on them. Guards wouldn't go in there, and.
Well, do you know something? And we need to question that.
Yeah.
Remember I told you last night, we was talking on the phone, Linda, and I says that there was a Caucasian doctor in South Africa. He developed a drug that will kill only black people. It will only kill black people. I am not sure if that will kill mixed 50-50s. You know what I'm saying? I'm not sure if that will kill mixed people, but I know he went to prison for it.
Right.
So for creating a drug that will kill strong melanated people.
What I'm questioning is, though, if that was the thought in South Africa at the time about being mixed race, did we just feel bad about being mixed race because that was thought about us?
No, I've never felt bad about being mixed race. Let me just clarify something.
No, yeah, go on. I'm just questioning it, Paul.
Personally, I feel good about being mixed race, right? I felt bad about being a human being because of my upbringing, but not about mixed race. I feel very fortunate that I'm mixed race, very, very fortunate. But I felt bad, if you can understand, about being fucking alive, a human being when I was young, because I seemed to be like fucking in the way of everybody. As a kid, I seemed to be in the way. So not about mixed race now. No. I'm proud to be mixed race.
Did you not just feel happy that you're in the Reno and there's loads of other mixed race around? I did. No.
Say 30%, 40%. Okay. It wasn't like the be all and end all for me, Linda, because I say the Reno was more, rightly or wrongly, I see it as a race, right? The music wasn't my type of music particularly, because I'm an ardent fan of African music. My music is African music, indigenous African music and Arabic music. Though I like R&B, but it's not the music that's my first music. You know what I'm saying? I do like it, but when I'm in the house, cleaning, yoga, training, whatever I'm doing, I will have African music on. It's inspirational to me. It brings something alive in me, African music. Really, I can, when I play African music sometimes, I can feel like a little tickling in my solar plexus. So it actually has a physical effect on me.
Yeah.
Where a lot of other music doesn't have that. Yeah, the Reno music, R&B, nice, it's good. But what I'm saying is it wasn't, perhaps you found it more fulfilling and satisfying than me, and perhaps a lot more of the mixed race people did. It wasn't the be all and end all for me.
I love dancing, you see. So
But you're a good dancer, I'm not a great, I can dance, but I'm not a great dancer. But I mean, that's neither in nor there. It's that music didn't do it for me. Really, Reno music didn't really do it. I've got to be honest, it didn't really do it. I mean, I like a bit of jazz, I do. I'm not saying I don't like it, but it's not my number one music. If it had been down to me, we would have had African music there.
You'd have got yourself so beat up.
Yeah, it'd been African music, maybe a little bit of R&B, bit of reggae. That's it. But the main theme would have been African. It's got to be. I mean, so it is, my sister. But and also, I mean, we're older now, aren't we? We've learned a lot more stuff.
Yeah.
So unhygienic, the Reno, so unhygienic. If somebody had TB and they was in there, they went down there with TB, right? There's hardly any ventilation, right? So you can be picking up bacteria and stuff, right? Also, if the state, talk about the government, the state, would have decided we need to make an example of all them in there, right? It would have been quite easy to blow us all up in there and we'd all gone. And that's the Reno gone. It would have been easy, wouldn't it, for them to do that? It wasn't safe. That's what I'm trying to say. It wasn't safe health-wise and security-wise.
So you didn't feel ever safe in that? I don't mean about anybody getting it. I just mean being with your people,
Well, I'll tell you something now. Listen to this, right? I know a few girls. Well, obviously, you don't mind putting me through
No,
right? And you know when girls see some girls, they kiss you, don't they? Not romantic, just to say, "Hey, Paul, how you doing?" I would never let girls kiss me on the lips. You had to kiss me there. Wouldn't do it because it's dirty in there. That's how I used to feel.
Did you?
Yeah, when I used to get girls around the back, there was no kissing.
You could go on to your 30 seconds.
A bit longer than that.
I know, yeah.
You know what I mean? I was older then, so it got a bit longer.
Fucking hell, man.
So I wasn't into that because it was dirty.
Right, tell me something happy about the Reno. I thought he was going to come here and say something happy and good today. Some good Reno stories, man.
Happy.
Tell me something like where you had a good night, where it's like just like, because you can laugh, man. You can nearly die laughing. Tell me something where it's just like been a proper belly laugh.
Fucking hell, man. Well, I think, I'm struggling a bit. I mean, I can remember one time going in there tripping.
Yeah, go on.
Tripping, and like...
Who were you with?
I was with Gladys.
Yeah.
Gladys. From Newcastle girl, but she lived in Miles Plain. Gladys, Tommy Brogan, Danny Sarge, me. And we left Miles Plain. I was tripping. I was in the back of the car, I was on the way to Reno, and I kept thinking, fucking hell, don't touch me. Starting to get the honours.
Yeah.
Proper, the head going, right? Then bringing it back to normal, then getting the honours. And then when we got to the Reno and I seen it all, I seen like loads of maggots, it looked like maggots to me. It frightened me. Wow. Loads of people milling about and all these things going on. So I came in, right? The laddie said, Agbaku, talking to me. And I wow. And I went down, you know where the men's toilets are? Yeah. I sat there and I was with Gladys, Tommy Brogan and Danny Sarge was floating about. And I remember sitting there, right? And I don't know why it was. Loads of people seemed to be coming and saying, all right, Paul, I was getting the fucking off. And he ended up, in the corner, in the floor on the corner. In the corner on the floor looking. I fucking don't know why I did that. But it just seemed to get, I didn't like all these people fucking saying hello to me. So, and I can't remember what happened after that. But it was a fucking pivotal moment in my life, that.
Why was it pivotal?
I fucking seen how insane I was. It was a revelation, wasn't it?
No.
You're fucking so much wrong here, Paul.
No, sometimes I'd be tripping and I'd be thinking that there's something fucking wrong with me, man.
Man,
why do I think like this?
There's that much going on in here.
Yeah.
I remember one time in there tripping as well. And, Larty Lawson. Yeah. I don't know if you say it really. He might have been smoking as well, I don't know what he was doing. But I remember looking at him, Larty Lawson, and I was taking LSD. And I remember looking at him, he went like clear. I remember trying to walk through him. Wow. He might not remember that. Yeah. He wasn't there. He was there and then he was transparent. I remember trying to walk through him and panicking. I don't know if he remembered it. I think he was with a girl at the time. He might have been tripping, I don't know. But I remember trying to get through him,
Tell me a laugh you had. You must have had a laugh down.
I'm trying to think now. Because as I said, Linda, to me the Reno was a place of, I'll be honest, it was a place of raising and getting like a girl when I wanted a girl to do something with. It wasn't really like a fun place for me. Right. You know what I'm saying? I didn't really see it as a great place to have great fun. You know what I'm saying? I didn't see it like that. But also as well, because I was quite aware of things. When I used to see the police coming down there, in there and like taking stuff and looking around, looking at people, it used to really anger me. I used to realise, because it was political. You know what I'm saying? So I didn't really have a sense of humour. So I think that I'd get kind of lost in thought, thinking that how can these people come down here into our environment and do this to us and we've got no defence? That's how I used to think. I really used to think like that in my mind. that somebody should just come in masked up and go boom, 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 just kill them and go and immigrate. You know, nobody ever say anything. That's what I used to think. I used to think that maybe one day I'll do that to them, you know, and get away. Never tell anybody about it and go, because it was it insulted me. Perhaps other people in there, I can't speak for other people. Maybe other people didn't feel the same way as me, but that was an affront to me. That was rubbing salt in my wound by you people coming into here and thinking you can dictate and vibe people out and take money off the owner and get free drinks and just barge past people as you go in. I used to have murder in mind.
Right.
But in one way it's good that I wasn't too, you know, alright with people, because if somebody would have said, listen, do you fancy doing these fuckers in? I could have been persuaded, Linda, to kill policemen. At that time I could have been persuaded. And that's not healthy, is it really?
No, absolutely.
Because killing them is not the solution, as we know. But as a young, disturbed, wild guy, that was the solution to me, in many ways. Or I was tinkering with them thoughts. But I know that my peers who I was moving with wasn't thinking that way. They would never.
Did you tell them that you're thinking like that?
I never told Danny Sarge, Tommy Brogan, Johnny Murphy, never told none of them boys that. I never told them I was thinking things like that. Because I was, even them, I used to keep a lot from them. You know, a lot of me thinking. But they never really, you know, didn't really. There'd come a period, you see, Linda, where I used to think to myself, you know, are you thinking normal, Paul? Nobody else is thinking this. That's what I used to think. And then when I hooked up with Johnny Murphy, and he started going on with all this rhetoric about this, that and the other, it really started to please me. I thought, a like-minded man here. But then, when I really watched his ways, he was talking shit. He didn't believe that. He didn't really believe that in his heart. I did. I really did start to believe it in my heart, and he didn't believe it. Right? But anyway, so the Reno for me, where for you, a lot of our other brothers and sisters, it may have been a place of fun, laughter, let your hair down. It wasn't really that for me.
I do understand what you're saying about the competitiveness, though.
Yeah.
I wouldn't label it that. I wouldn't label it that word. But I used to get paranoid in there that I wasn't good enough for, wasn't cool enough for, I wasn't, you know, especially when I'd get stoned.
I didn't used to think amongst them that I wasn't good enough. There was times where I used to feel that I was superior to them, and I used to think that, I used to get paranoid thinking that, can they see that in me? Are they going to interpret that as arrogance? But I genuinely got to a stage where I felt above people. You understand me? And that's not right in itself, that thinking. You know, I know now it's not right, but I started to think that, so I didn't feel part of people. I didn't feel part of it. I felt that people, even though some people were quite academic, wasn't they? Used to get on there, but I still felt above them. I felt that people lacked the unifying spirit. You know what I'm saying?
So you want revolution is what you want, isn't it? While you're down there, you want a revolution. Is that what you want?
Yeah, but on all levels.
So what does that mean?
It means schools, you know, control our schools, dietary. We'll be training our own clubs. That's what I wanted at the time, yeah. I really did, and I yearned for that. I yearned for it, Linda, more than anybody will ever know. I yearned for it. I spoke to a few guys, and I know they thought I was off my trolley, because they, you know, they wasn't ready for that type of thinking. It was like I was speaking another entire language, though I was speaking English language to them. So I knew the brothers at the time wasn't really ready for that. And then I got involved with the BLF, Black Liberation Front, and some of the brothers, Umawani, and then came down from London to see me. And they stayed with me for a few days, and we had some in-depth thought. But I seen that they wasn't right. What they were saying wasn't right for me, because they was more talking about diaspora, right? I was talking about, we have to go back to the foundation, which is the African, not the diaspora. The diaspora comes in part from the African, you know what I mean? So that didn't work. So I never really had anybody who really was thinking the same way as me. Having said that, Dave Durando, I think, thought a bit like me. You know, when I used to have chats with him, I think he thought a bit like me. But Danny, Tommy, all them boys, they, in terms of revolution, they did not think like me at all. Absolutely not in that way. I think I'd say of all of them who we know, of you, there's other people you don't know, but people who you know and I know, probably Dave Giolando was the nearest thing that I could get to how I was thinking. Probably. Do you know what I mean? I would say that.
And how was you going to achieve it though?
Well, it wasn't going to. Well, I realised that this is not really going to be achieved. So, like I said to you, I migrated towards Arabs.
Right.
So when we put the group together, right, that really was what I should have really been doing with my people years ago.
Right.
But I've seen that it's like dragging a dead horse, my people.
But also, you weren't old enough and you didn't have enough skills.
No, but I had the ideas. And the thing is that if there's older people around us who see this and hear this, surely they've got more experience. They can say, well, there's some good ideas here. Let's throw this about and see what we can do. But as far as I was concerned with mixed race, there was 3 categories of mixed race. There was those who thought it was black, there was those who thought it was white, and there was those of us who knew what it was, mixed. And I fell into the central category. Are you with that?
Yeah.
You know, and there wasn't many in that. They verbalised that there was, but I'm saying in heart, wasn't there. You know, that's what I see in people. Yeah.
I've never felt it that strong in that way.
But you know something, Linda? Can I just tell you this? Many years ago, when I first learned to read, right, one of the first books I ever read was George Jackson, the Soledad Brothers, right? But George Jackson was one of the Panthers.
Yeah.
Black Panthers, right? And I can remember when I read it, I used to have to read it with my finger. Right? Oh,
because of your dyslexia.
So I used to read it one word at a time, right? And instead of like, read one word at a time. But it had profound effect on me. You know, and when I seen George Jackson, a picture of him, I thought, he looks like me. He's the same colour as me. He's my brother, man. And that's how I used to think. I used to get upset. And then when they killed him, and in prison, the botched escape which was set up, I can remember being really upset, traumatised, because somehow in my youth I'd absorbed him into me, really absorbed it.
And hope.
And hope, and
hope's now been murdered.
Yeah, it's gone. And even today, I'm telling you that now, I've just felt something in my stomach that's got like that, because he had a profound effect on me. You know, George Jackson, his brother Jonathan died in the courthouse breakout, shot. But that kind of had a really serious effect on me, that really heavy effect. And then when we was very young, we used to collect for the Panthers. You know, we used to go around the country collecting. Yeah. The organisation was called the Aged, the Homeless and the Underprivileged, me and John De Silva.
Yeah.
Right? So we used to have tins, we'd go places, and we'd have a permit, and we'd collect money. And we'd get so much for ourselves, and so much would go to the Panthers, and so much would go for the aged and the homeless here. And you know something? That was an honour for me. Because me and John used to say, we're contributing, to our people,
Yeah.
It's hard work, and we've been jumped a few times, and people had snatched the tins and that, but nevertheless, we was contributing. We was going out, using our time, and some of the money that we'd amassed, that we collected, was going out to San Francisco and places like California, where the Panthers was feeding children before they go to school, because children was going to school without breakfast.
Yeah. And
one of the criteria to perform well is you need to be fed.
Yeah.
If you're not fed, you're not going to perform to cognitive best. So that's great. Think about that. That was a great contribution. And if I die tomorrow, I do feel that, I've helped some of our brothers. It's a so liberating feeling,
Yeah.
But as regards the people here, the Reno people, the mixed race people here, nah. I got to give it a capital N. A big N. Nah. I never felt part of them. And to this day, I don't really feel part of them. But don't get me wrong, Linda. I have friends who I like. Lots of friends who say hello to how you doing and this, that and the other. But politically, I wouldn't discuss things with them.
Yeah.
The things I've done in the past 4 years, I wouldn't discuss with some of the brothers, because they'd say, nah, I'm not having that, it's true, man. You know what I mean? Major true. But they'd go, you don't know me, mate. That's why it is, you know what I mean? But the Arabs brought the best out of me. So I'm trying to tell you, they brought the best. Being around the people who loved me and appreciated, and I
But
loved
we
them.
love you, you fool.
Well, I didn't feel that.
Yeah, but we love you, you fool. All of us love you.
Well, I didn't feel that.
Yeah.
You know, don't make me cry. I didn't feel that. I didn't feel that amongst me. I used to feel most mixed race people didn't like me. That's what I used to feel. True to God. I didn't. Not with you.
Yeah.
Not with Mandy. Not with Stella Maisie. And I'm not going to say you, but a large percentage, I used to think that they didn't like me.
No.
I don't give a fuck about them, but I'm saying.
No, you're one of us.
That's how it used to feel to me. And
it's not even about our colour, you're one of us. There's a clique of us who know who we all are.
yeah, but that clique that you're talking about is very small.
No,
comparatively.
No.
It is.
No. Because I know what you're thinking, but no. It's wider than you think. It's a certain period of time in that Reno when, there was different factions, with different thoughts, with different ways of thinking, but we was all one, as May says. We are one, and we love you. We all talk about you with loving.
Well, the thing is, well, great. I'm very much appreciate that.
But go on.
But I'm just saying how it was for me. What
no, that I appreciate that. I appreciate that. If you want to be a revolutionary and nobody's around you helping you to start the revolution, it must be frustrating.
So consequently, I used to look at people. I used to think, you think I'm a weirdo. I didn't say it to them. I used to think, you think I'm a weirdo, and compared to you, I probably am, right? But what I'm thinking, you got no idea, mate. You personally, I used to think this about people. You don't know exactly what's going through my mind.
Yeah, but you don't know exactly what's going through their mind either.
Well, that's true, but I meant on like revolution, things like that, on that side. They didn't know I was so committed to what I was committed to. They didn't know, people didn't know. And I used to think to myself that, well, I'm not really part of you, really, because of how you think you like you just like into like, hey, don't I look good and this, that and the other. And I was not really overtly concerned with what I looked like. I was more concerned with my fucking people, man. We should have our own companies. We should have properties. We should have schools. Our children should. I was thinking that, with other people's, yeah, baby, let's get it on. It's, where you going tonight? I mean, I did a bit of that, don't get me wrong, but like, I think that's why I was so bad to a lot of girls, I think it was my way of getting back at the system. A lot of girls have done some bad things. I think it was. I think I just looked at them as like, you, how dare you fucking want to fucking like me, fancy me? I used to think that. How dare you? Now you're going to have a bit of this. That's how my fucking head used to think. Some people will call it fucking schizophrenia. I call it normality.
Schizophrenia.
But that's how it was. That's how I used to think. I never respected women, really. Those that I kind of, was going to do things with. I respected some who I didn't. Like I respected you, respected Mandy and that. But a lot of women, I didn't respect them. I had no respect for women. I seen them as one thing and that's it. So I used to view them.
I think that's the thing of our time though as well, wasn't it? Because that girls and boys being friends is our generation. Nothing to do with the Reno. That's first our generation. Before that, I don't know.
Can I ask you a question?
Go on.
Do you think yourself,
Go on.
right, when we put it on the scales, do you think the Reno was a good thing or a bad thing? Bearing in mind, many brothers got hooked on heroin and they're no longer here with us now.
True enough.
Right? Many brothers got life sentences. Right? Many sisters had 5, 6 kids and just went chaotic, drunk and everything else. Right? So on the scales, do you think it was more positive or negative to be part of that? The Reno.
I never regret it. For me, I never regret it. I don't regret one moment in there. For me personally. Right,
yeah. But, okay. But do you think it was overall a good thing or a bad thing in general? We're generalising. Maybe not for you as Linda, but as generally. Do you think it was a good thing for our people collectively? The way things went. I'm not saying about mixed race people being all together. I'm saying the way things went, the way it all went. Do you think it was productive, the Reno? In general, I've got no doubt for some people it was, who made careers. But generally, the majority, do you think it was do you think it benefited? Because what Billy Marble says, I kind of tend to think that, you know, we had brothers who was going there, smoking, staying out, this, that and the other. They could have been learning things, could have been doing things, or fucking immigrating. Go, man. Why are you staying in this little confined room where you can get TB?
You fucker.
And this stinky toilet. You know what I mean? Why?
Was it right? For me, right? I sound fucking stupid, but I measure everything against Reno subconsciously without even thinking about it. You know, like when I fancied Louise, right, I thought she'd fit in the Reno. That was the marker. And I'm 40 odd. Do you know what I mean? If you wouldn't have fitted in the Reno, it's not about being cool or anything. And it is partly that you are there as well. There's you with your political mind. There's Frank with the Cotton Club. It's real and it's alive. It's unfortunate that they took crack, they took heroin, they did whatever. But yesterday as well, I had this feeling that we're really, really honest as well, and we wore that down in each other. You know, you couldn't carry on with shit. Do you know what I mean? You couldn't. Someone would fucking pull you up. If not Susie Prowse, that you just. And the only place you can go to not be pulled up is to be honest. Yeah, loads of the way that I think about the system and everything was ignited by you and Tom. Loads of people, if I've not seen him for 20 years and I see him, I talk to him like it was yesterday, laugh, you know, so
for you as an individual, sorry to
go on.
interject, but you as an individual, it was productive for.
Yeah.
In many ways, because you've used it as a positive. I can see that by what you're saying.
Yeah.
Right? But I'm talking about the collective. Everybody. Was it good for them? When I look around now and what I see, there's so many talented people there, Linda.
No, absolutely.
Look at the talents that we all had. Major talents.
No, absolutely.
Well, that talent, where did it go?
Yeah, but Paul, to me, that's not about the Reno. That's about society at the time. Where was we going to use them talents? Where was you going? Right, if you're like, I don't know, who are you like, Malcolm X? Say you're Malcolm X.
I'm not Malcolm.
No, but you know, you've got the potential to have them radical thoughts to make people question themselves. You made me question myself. You made me read books and stuff like that, right? So the environments weren't there for them talents to come out at that time. People don't just take heroin because, in my view, I've never taken heroin, but you want something more out of life. That's why you're taking them drugs or something. To me, you just cannot pull, you cannot walk the line. You know, the B&Q job.
I'll just take you back a moment.
Go on, you go where you want.
What I said to you before.
Yeah.
Right. So if we look at Jewish people, we look at Arab people, we look at the Asian people, right? They get all their education and everything sorted, right? Then it's playtime, right?
Yeah, accept that.
But what I'm saying with us, with us, right? It was playtime, and that come later, right? Now our position, what we've been in this country, right? We should have done it the other way around because we're in a bondage situation here. We've been in bondage. We've been in a big jail here. So we should have pursued education first, right? And businesses and things like that, then playing. That's been the downfall of us as a people, in my opinion. We played before being serious. We should have been serious, then play.
I see what you're saying, but I don't think you can do both. I think that we look fantastic for our age and everything because we was wild and we learned how to have fun and we still know how to have fun. Do you know what I mean? And we still know how to laugh till our bellies hurt. And I think if you get caught up in being a grown-up and being a miserable fucker and being fucking out for money and out for whatever at an early age, I think your life is wasted the same way. They look old and they look bitter. They don't seem to look like they enjoy their life any more than I do. In fact, I seem to look more to me and my friends seem to look more to me like we enjoy our life. That we can have a moment of greatness where we're still fucking laughing like when we were 17 in someone's house with a spliff. And I can't see them fuckers doing that.
Well, to be truthful with you, they do it later, don't they? Like I said, it's first things first, and then that. But like I said, Linda, you know, look at the Pakistani, for instance, right? Look at the Pakistanis, right? They didn't really all come down the Reno, did they? They're doing well now. Collectively, they're doing well. They're having fun. The youths are having fun. They're owning things. They're doing things. Look at us. You know, have we learned anything really? I'm not saying you, Linda, and me, just 1 or 2, 5, 6, 10. I'm saying as the group, the genotype of a mixed race. Have we collectively learned anything? And do we have any power? And what are we doing apart from being cunts to each other whenever we feel like it and having a laugh, as you say? What have we really done? What are we doing? We've had heroes, like I said, Pushkin, Dumas, many of them, right? But are we following up on that and printing our name in history? You know, are we doing that as a people? We're here to stay. You know the mixed race man, Linda. We are, what's the word? We are the true immortals, right? Let me elaborate what I mean by that. If you kill all black men on the earth and women, kill them, right? So don't exist, right? Kill every one of them. That's going to be the end of the black man, right? On the other flip side, you kill all whites, kill every one of them, right? That's the end of the white man, right? You might have an albino, but that's a complaint. I mean, the white race is the white race, it's the end. You kill all mixed race people, right? Every one of us, and in 9 months' time, we can be born. We are immortal.
Wow.
You know what I mean? I'm looking at my immortal. I'm immortal. You are. All people of mixed origin are. And why are we thinking this and telling? These are the things I taught to the children in the group. It's what I taught. You're immortal. You know what I mean? Because I believe that we are. And no biologist or scientist can prove me wrong. Because we are. You understand me? Do you understand? Does that make sense?
No, but then if we still get bred out though.
What I'm saying to you is, even if they got rid of us all.
No, I'm saying,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, but so if they got rid of us all, and in 9 months' time, some of us started to be born, right?
Yeah,
we could go somewhere else and just keep breeding with ourselves. So that race would come back. That's what I'm saying, right? But if you got rid of all the black people, every single one on the planet, it's over, right? So, you know, I look at the immortality of the mixed race man as well. You know what I mean? That's important to me.
Right, okay.
You know, that type of thing. I want my people to live on. The genetic, you know, to go on. I don't want no people to go extinct, to be quite. I don't. Because it's not right, is it? Genocide's not right. I don't want that. I want all people to live. But, you know, we are. I believe that we are immortal, the immortal race, where the other races are not immortal. As I say, that's what I think. You know, but I know you keep taking me back to the Reno, right? There's Paul thing, isn't it? The Reno, right? And many brothers and sisters enjoyed it. But don't get me wrong, Linda, it was all right, right? But I mean, now that you're older, right? We're older, but we're more mature. You do know it was unhealthy, don't you? Actually, think about it. In a dingy cellar, inhaling other people's air. You know what I'm saying? I mean,
you've just always been an old man.
I have.
Yeah, you fucker, that's the truth.
I think when I come out of my mother, I was like 74.
Yeah, no, exactly. You've just always been an old. While we was all having fun, you were just an old fucker.
You know, but even when I was a kid, I think I was always a bit different like that. You know, my mum told me. Can we just say this?
Yeah.
Right. One day I come home from school, right, and I've been playing football, and we lived in Ridgeway Street, and the news was on. 6 o'clock news. And I remember this, Linda, clearly. The narrator or the news person says, and heavily armed guerrillas are moving northwards towards Hanoi. I can remember it as clear as daylight, right? So my mum was in the kitchen making some food, and we had a hatch between the living room and the kitchen. So I remember saying, Mum, and she said, what? I said, why are they talking about gorillas that they've got heavy arms walking? Why have gorillas got heavy arms? Now, because my mum, she was cooking, remember she's on the road, she's cooking and that, so she's obviously not really got the time. But I needed somebody then to explain then, because the understanding was starting to awaken.
Yeah.
So I needed somebody to say to me, no, what they mean, son, is this. I didn't have that nurturing.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So there was always an awakening from young.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I do know what you're saying. I was like that.
You know, and
I've always questioned things. Always.
And eventually it was my dad, when I spoke to my dad about it, and what he said to me, he says, when they say heavily armed guerrillas, they mean guns that weigh a lot.
Okay.
That's what he said. And I said, oh, I see. Because I thought, the way they said it on the news and that, and listening to Mum, I just thought they meant, you know, a gorilla like a furry animal gorilla. I thought they meant that. You know, young mind. And that. But there was an opportunity to just plant a little seed in my mind, you know, and open me up. But because my mum was cooking and she's on her own at the time and I got a few kids, I accept that she might not have been, you know, I can't be bothered with that at the moment, so I accept that can happen. So that's always been there. Sorry, Linda, it's always been there. I've just been dyslexic and fruity, but that's always been there as well, that thinking. So I carried that everywhere. I've carried it all around with me. Even in the Reno, it was there.
No, I accept that about you. I remember it about you.
Definitely was there. So I didn't really feel... I mean, I liked some people. Don't get me wrong. I'm not saying like I was just, fucking hell, you're not revolutionaries. It wasn't like that. Just that I used to look at certain things. Like say, I remember Frank Prera when he had somebody mentioned about a Rolls Royce and he had all this money and that. And I used to think to myself, when I heard that, I was very happy for him because I like to see people getting on. But I remember thinking, if I had that, I'd open a school for our people. I'd start doing this and I'd start doing that. But it's something, God rest his soul, I would never have had the gall to say, Frank, why don't you do it? Because he was successful, he's a big man. And I would talk to a man like that in that way. But if it had been somebody, say, my age or more, I said, why don't you like open schools, brother, for our people? Why don't you start some classes or do it? That's what I would have said. You know what I'm saying? But I didn't feel I had that position to approach somebody, you know, like that, really. But I had the thoughts in my head. You know what I mean?
Definitely. I think we need last thoughts because I think that we needed to get to be this age and looking back in hindsight so we can unravel what we thought and know what we think and know what we make of everything. I'm only just starting to settle with myself to what I really think now.
Even though you've got knowledge?
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. In a productive, because a lot of what my journey's been learning, you know, understanding, and like understanding about the system as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I'll have that. But, you know, as regards the system, I've been a victim of it, haven't I? You know, I've been to jail, haven't I? And I've seen the system. I've seen man's inhumanity to other men. I've seen it. I don't like the system. I've tried to emigrate from the system, but I'm fucking back again. You know, when I went to Egypt, my intention, you know, when I was getting the business together in Egypt, was to live there. That was my intention, was to stay in Egypt and fucking, I'm not coming back, mate. I'm staying here. That was the intention. When I wanted to immigrate to Nigeria, you know, I had kids and women and which I shouldn't have had, but else I could have immigrated. You know what I mean? Because I never wanted to live in England. It seemed that the system was not suitable for me. It might have been suitable for others, but me as an individual, I never felt part of the system. I never warmed to the system. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
And that's the truth in my heart. I never warmed to this system. I voted maybe twice in my life. I'm not interested in the system. However, having said that, I don't want viewers to think that I'm totally against everybody. Because some people said to me after the first thing, oh, you're quite anti-Caucasian. I'm not anti-Caucasian. I'm anti the system. I've got Caucasian friends. Kevin Nolan, I love him like my brother. If he'd have been my blood brother, I would have loved Kevin. I love him a lot. John Cooney, I love him. John comes to see me. You understand me, right? I'm against the rulers within the Caucasian fraternity. I'm against them, those who direct things, those who are making our life hard, those who are creaming off, those who treated my father, bad when he was here, but at the same time, they was robbing Nigeria, keeping him here in a shit situation and robbing his country. I'm against them who profited from that. And then people now have sent their children to Oxford and Cambridge and they've now become politicians that are keeping on the cycle. I'm against that. You understand me, Linda?
I do.
That's things like that have always wound me up.
Yeah.
How dare you come to my father's land and take, and you treat him appallingly and disgusting while he's here. You have no respect for his history or nothing about him, but yet you're robbing. You know, robbing the nation. You know, that offended me no end. You know.
Tell me your last thing about the Reno before we go on.
My last thing about the Reno. Let me just really think about that. The last thing. I'll tell you something which is quite nice, which I'll end on a nice, because I hope I've not been too aggressive on this.
No, go on.
Because I've had no weed today.
You've had no what?
I've had no weed this time. I made sure I didn't have no weed to come with. Last time I was on weed, wasn't I? And I was ill anyway. So,
But go on.
Right. I'll leave it on this.
Go on.
It was my brother Mark, who I love dearly, who's in Jinnah Paradise now, right? Was being with him in the Reno and laughing with him.
Yeah.
Right? We sat down near, you know, where the pool room was.
Yeah.
Sat with him and really having a laugh with him. You know, really he was making a laugh.
Yeah.
Right? And, you know, kind of being with him and really feeling, because I've never felt this with my other brothers, but with Mark, I felt, this is my brother, man. You know, and we're here and it felt great.
Yeah.
That was a while before it closed.
Yeah.
But I'd like to leave it with that in my brother's honour. I had a great time with him that night. It was me and him, and we had a good time. And I want to leave myself with that memory.
Okay.
You know what I mean? Thank you all.
Oh, thanks, Paul.